Alrighty, welcome back to playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Properly. Today we are going over the current deck list. It's February now, and I haven't really shown off the deck yet, but I have gotten it to where I'm actually more consistently winning games and even matches, so I actually feel this is a bit more ready to show off, essentially. Um, so, let's just jump right in. First up, we got 3 Droll and Lockbird. I think this is probably one of the better hand traps going into the format. I'm sort of prepping this for post Phantom Nightmare, so that's kind of where I'm sort of strategizing and building from. We're trying to get this ready for regional in March, and so I'm actually feeling really comfortable with the deck now. So Droll definitely seems like it's going to be really good. We got 1 Division Resonator. I think 1 is fine. I'm not playing Allure anymore, so I don't have to worry about banishing it, and I can just get it back off of Crimson Gaia. So there's not really any more reason to play more than 1. Also, fusing with it is really good because you can just get Crimson Gaia, get a monster. It lets you chain block too, which is nice. If you make yugioh Grimlina. We got triple Ash, because Ash is also just really good right now. We got 2 Edgemp Chain. I'm a little unsure how this is going to stick in the deck after Phantom Nightmare, just because Earthbound Fusion is a more... I mean, it's a good fusion spell, but at the same time having more consistent access to materials for fusion summoning, I might only play like 1 or 2 Earthbound Fusion and keep the Edgemp, like the Fright for package, essentially, because it's really good consistency, and it's also just good at baiting out hand traps. As long as you don't get drolled, usually you're fine. So we got 1 Salamander Catalyst. I just got this last night. I haven't had a chance to test him out, but in theory he's a very good extender / recovery card. His level is actually also pretty good too, since I can make either level 5s with him, level 7s, and that lets me kind of climb up into my level 8s with the normal play with the Earthbound stuff. So now getting into the actual Earthbound monsters, we got 3 Earthbound Prisoner Groundkeeper. On summon, he pulls out a level 5 or lower Earthbound from the deck, and while there's a field spell out, your Earthbounds cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. So it's some really, really good protection, and you're almost always summoning this on the opponent's turn for additional value with Yugioh Griffin. And this is why having this level 4 body that I can just throw onto the field, plus I can like pitch an Edgemp Chain that I drew with no fusion material, with no access to fusion summons. And then that gets me to Patchwork as well. The only drawback is he has a fire, not a dark, so that does mean that he can't be fusion material, but we're mainly using this to kind of fix if like this gets ashed or something. I can make a level 5, and then if I have like any other, or I can also bring out like Stone Sweeper from my hand if I don't have a field spell, like that sort of thing. So he's really good, and it's any fiend, not just like level 4 or lower. So he can also let me bring out some of the bigger stuff as well. We got 3 Line Walker. I have seen builds running 2 of this. I think 3 is preferred right now, just because there's a lot of games where I actually do summon all 3. And if he's not in the deck, then that means that it's 1 less thing I can summon. So I feel like 3 is fine for now. Maybe I can take 1 of these out for Earthbound Fusion. I'm not entirely sure. We're also running 2 copies of Earthbound Line Walker. The effect doesn't really matter. It's more so here because he's a level 4 non-tuner Earthbound monster, and he also is an Earthbound and a Dark for fusion material. Mostly, again, so that we can fuse more often, and it's actually not been terrible. Like, I didn't think in 2024 I would be saying that Earthbound Line Walker is actually kind of good. However, I will say 1 of them will come out once I get a 3rd copy of Stone Sweeper. I currently only have 2 Stone Sweeper. That's like the big thing I need to get still, just for consistency. So Stone Sweeper can discard to add 1 of these 2 in hand. He can actually also grab Vision Resonator, which is really important. Just to kind of like, if I already have these in rotation, I don't need to and like if I don't have a field spell still somehow, I can still get some value out of it and get that engine going. We're also playing 3 Earthbound Greater Linewalker. That's right, there are 3 Earthbound Linewalker monsters. That is not at all confusing. So I initially was toying around with this just as like extra material for fusion summoning, but I actually realized he is the win con. This is how we'll win games most of the time. So basically, if there's a synchro on your field and in your grave, he can special summon, and a lot of the time I'm summoning these 2 and a non-tuner, and I'm either making like a 7 and then an 8, or a 5 and then an 8. So that's putting a synchro on my field and in my graveyard. He's a free summon. And then like if I have another one of these, I can make a level 9, which we'll get into later. But also, he can add an Earthbound Immortal from deck or grave to hand once a turn, and if you normal summon an Earthbound Immortal, your opponent's life becomes 3,000. And that is our win con. I'm still trying to get the other Earthbound Immortals that I want to run, but because of Geo Gremlina's effect to let our Dark Synchros direct attack, which most of our Synchros are going to be Dark Synchro monsters, with the Earthbound Immortal being able to direct attack, we are easily able to clear the threshold of 3,000 life. This deck has a ton of ways to also just win in time, which I think is hilarious. Between being able to direct attack, being able to drop the opponent to 3,000, and then a lot of things that just do like 800 damage, or more, or like increments of 800 or 300 damage. Currently, the Earthbound Immortal I'm playing is a Silapiscu. I have the Lizard, but I don't want to be blowing up my own board. So this being able to blow stuff up and deal damage isn't terrible. It destroys as many face-up monsters the opponent controls when it leaves the field outside of its own effect, which it only leaves the field if a field spell isn't in play. And then it deals 800 damage for each monster destroyed. So it's... Oh, I just realized there's a glare. There we go. Bird. So yeah, this thing is basically a lightning vortex, and then it does 800 for each card it killed, which is, again, really just good in time. That is all of the monsters. Let's get these out of the way. One of these days I will be used to this phone stand, and I won't knock it around a bunch. For spells, we've got a 1-for-1. Basically, it's our 4th copy of Groundkeeper, or my 6th copy because I have 2 copies of Stone Sweeper as well. We've got 1 Mirror or Harmonic Synchro Fusion. This lets us send a tuner and non-tuner we control to grave and summon a fusion and a synchro that we can make with both of those monsters. It locks us into fusions and synchros the entire turn that we play it, not just the rest of the turn like most of the other effects. So because of that, but also most everything is locking us anyway, there isn't really a reason to play any non-fusion or synchro monsters. We also have 2 copies of Earthbound Prison. I was running one of this, but because of things like Cosmic Cyclone, and like more niche things like the level 10 Ice Shade Synchro, banishing the field spell puts me in a really awkward position, especially if I'm struggling to sort of get set up. So having a second one just in case, but also like if I open one, being able to get the other out of the deck, like I can get some extra value, maintain some advantage and everything like that. So it definitely has come up where the second copy is needed. But also, again, because like being able to like activate a new one on turn 3 or turn 4 if I went second, just to like negate another monster, that's also really good. And it means that I don't have to force myself to grab back the first copy if it got destroyed somehow. So then I can grab this back instead off of Linewalker, the level 3 Linewalker, not the other 2. We're playing also 2 triple tech. Talent, not thrust. I always have mixed feelings with this card. Mostly just because like Droll is really popular, so like if I need to get something and they Droll me, I can't draw off of it anymore. So it makes it hard to kind of dig for the proper pieces to sort of fix my hand. But that being said, it's still a hell of a card, especially going second. So I don't think I would take it out. I might bump it to the side at some point. I'll have to see kind of how the format develops and whether or not it's actually a good card. We're also playing 2 Crimson Gaia. Again, it's sort of the same reason with Earthbound Prison. Like, if the first one gets destroyed, having the second one just to kind of keep the Vision Resonator loop going, sometimes it really, really does matter. And then also, like, if I open one of these, it means that I still have a second one I can get in the deck, just for some extra value. We're also playing 2 Polymerization and 2 Patchwork. I think I've seen some decks that run this sort of Fright for Patchwork package, run like less copies of any of these, like 1 chain, 1 poly, 2 of these. I really like being able to fusion summon, so I think having the second is probably for the best. I'll maybe fudge the numbers a bit more post Phantom Nightmare. Again, once we get Earthbound Fusion, that does change some things. So I'll probably need to sort of mess with the math a bit on that. And that is all the spells. And for the traps, if my hands will work, we are playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence and 1 copy of Earthbound Release. This is sort of the other benefit to running the Earthbound Immortals, is that Earthbound Release is actually live. I don't have to play gimmicky stuff. So when a level 6 or higher monster is normal or special, you tribute a level 10 Earthbound monster. Destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, inflict damage your opponent equal to the combined original attack of those destroyed monsters. So, if we successfully resolve our our Greater Line Walker's effect to drop the opponent to 3,000, even if we can't attack, like if we do that on turn 1, which is possible, and then we have this as well, as soon as they summon something, we can potentially just end the game, which is hilarious to me. Like, there's a lot of hands where, like, we just don't lose from that point, especially if we actually have, like, synchros out still. Like, some of these hands that I have gotten with the deck is just, like, full gas, and if they don't have any sort of interrupt, then they just lose, I think. So yeah, that is the main deck. It should be 40 cards. I have, I think the last time I was trying to do a deck profile, I didn't actually upload it, but I accidentally had it at 42 cards without realizing, so. So for the extra deck, we're playing 2 Geo Gremlina. When it's specialed, you get to add an Earthbound monster from deck. You can target a Dark Synchro you control, and it can direct attack that turn. And if a card if a monster the opponent controls is destroyed by an Earthbound card effect, you can target one of those monsters that was destroyed and deal damage equal to its original attack. So this guy is insanely good. He is any Earthbound plus any Dark, so that's kind of why we want all our stuff to be Dark, so that way we can still fuse with it into this if we only have 1 Earthbound. We got 1 Drago Stapelia. Drago actually is really good right now, because he negates activated effects, and he's a really good interrupt. He also messes with levels. He can drop anything to level 1, so like, against like Mannadium, for example, being able to drop like their monsters' levels down means that you can actually mess with their combos a lot, because now they suddenly can only make a level 5 Synchro or something, or a level 3. So that's a really good interaction that I don't think people really think about. We also got 2 Geokraken on summon. And it's on special summon. So none of the Earthbound stuff cares about being properly summoned, and that's mostly because otherwise they wouldn't work with Harmonic Synchro Fusion. It does not treat it as a fusion or a synchro summon. That is important to remember, because you can't bring this stuff back. So Geokraken on summon, he gets you a field spell from deck or grave. So if we really need to, we could play stuff like Necro Valley, or if it was legal, Mystic Mine. God, I hope that never comes back. And then also, once a turn, if your opponent's specialist from the extra deck, or if a monster is summoned from your opponent's extra deck to their field, then you can destroy all of their monsters that were special summoned that turn, and deal 800 for each. So yeah, with the level 3 tuner, his effect in grave, you can banish him, and kick something back to the extra deck, and then your opponent can resummon a monster with that same name. So if they choose to resummon, then Geokraken just gets to pop the board, and or whatever was summoned. So it's just nice to kind of just like mess with stuff. Also, bouncing Xyz monsters, they don't get their material back. And then stuff that like needs to be properly like fusion or synchro summoned, they're no longer properly summoned, so they can't be brought back. So that again is another weird sort of interaction that if you're playing with or against this, you should be aware of. The last fusion is Geograsha. Let me reread this guy, because I have not summoned him that much. So it must be fusion summoned. He needs an Earthbound fusion and an Earthbound synchro. And at start of damage, if he battles a monster, changes its attack and defense to 0. And then if he kills something in battle, or if a monster in your opponent's possession destroy a battle or card effect, you can destroy all of your opponent's cards. That is a hard once per turn. And if he's in the owner's control and leaves the field because of an opponent's card, so even if he gets Kaiju'd, you can summon any Earthbound from your deck or extra deck. So that's probably why the main reason he can't be summoned out with like Harmonic Synchro Fusion. Not that they have a Synchro monster and a Fusion monster that are tuner and non-tuner. I do think like a level 6 or even like a level 3 Fusion or something like that, that's also a tuner, would be kind of cool. Because then they could have like a level 10 or a level 12 Synchro, and then you could actually like do stuff like that, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, that's mainly why this is only one of. It's sort of a I just need to hit you once kind of thing, clear your board, and I win the game. So yeah, I don't think I'd run more than one. But in case I do have more. For synchros, we've got 2 Geo Gremlin. This guy's also very important. Like, these 2 level 6s are probably the heart and soul of the deck. Or the extra deck at least. So Geo Gremlin, as a quick effect during either main phase, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls, and your opponent chooses an effect for you to apply. You either destroy that monster, or you gain life equal to that monster's attack. So again, we're either disrupting their board, or we are gaining life points, which means that we are less likely to lose in time. Additionally, during the battle phase, as a quick effect, he can banish from the hand, field, or grave to fusion summon an Earthbound monster. So if we got like both of these out, we can go into him during the battle phase and just wall up, essentially. Or, we can make a Geokraken, and then, if they try and make like Zeus in main phase 2, we can chain this and blow everything up. For level 7s, we've got an Ancient Fairy Dragon and a Quibelt, the Blade Dragon. Fairy Dragon is mostly, it can pop field spells, and with Fire King presumably being one of the top decks, upcoming format, being able to pop their field spell, grab my own field spell, gain 1,000, and then Fire King Island destroys their entire board, that's really good. Fairy Dragon also doesn't care about being synchro summoned, so being able to summon this off Harmonic Synchro Fusion is not too bad either. Quibelt does need to be synchro summoned for its effect, but that's okay because we can still set up level 7s relatively easily. 2500 is a decent stat line too, and like climbing up synchros, getting a pop a card, and then go into our next monster here is usually a really good trade-off. So Geogriffin. As a quick effect, he can just summon a Earthbound monster from grave and defense. He does not target either, which is really good. And then if he's destroyed by an opponent's card, battle or card effect, he can... Is it pop any monster? One card on the field, and inflict 300 to your opponent for each Earthbound with a different name in your field and grave. So yeah. That's another we get to win the game in time kind of thing. Again, I don't like being able to cheese time wins, but you gotta get your wins somehow, and being aware of and accounting for how do we win in time is important, I feel. It sucks. Nobody likes winning like that, or worse, tying like that, but having options for time is definitely important, I think, and we don't need to run any sort of like Ghost Mourner, the hand trap that gains you life like Max C. We don't need to run anything like that because we've got multiple in-engine ways to gain life or deal damage. We also have a Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. just again, really, really good generic level 8 synchro. There's probably some better things we could run. Like, I feel like if I had Stardust, I might run that instead. So far, I've yet to actually use him, but I mean, the option to have it is just really nice. And then the last two synchros are Virtual World QB Shen because as a level 9, it is really good, but also like if our level 1, if we make the level 1 tuner and then we have a Greater Line Walker out, we can summon into this. Or, we can piggyback off of Geo Griffin or Scarlight or even Geo Kraken. Because this thing is generic for some reason. I don't know why they did that. But yeah, then this gives us a nice macro on legs. It's a nice turn 1 sort of play, especially when paired with Geo Kraken. And then the last card is Baron de Flare. So that's sort of the other play is like if I fusion summon to start my combo, and then I can climb into Fairy Dragon and then into Baron with the level 1 and level 3 tuners. Or like if I have like Geo Griffin or a Geo Kraken that's just kind of not contributing anything, I can Special Vision Resonator and Synchro that way. So yeah, it's just like these two fit very important level caps that I can reach. I do think it'd be nice to have like a Psychic End Punisher for a level 11. Currently, I don't have Psychic End Punisher though, so I'm not sure what I would take out. We could take out the Scarlight for that. But again, I'm not really sure. That is going to do it for the extra deck. Again, that should be 15 cards. And for the side deck, we've got 3 Nibiru. Nibiru is, sometimes the only way to solve your problems is by throwing a rock at it. We got 2 Lightning Storm, just to clear up, mostly to clear out back row, but also, again, clearing up monsters. A lot of stuff doesn't have Destruction immunity right now. And then, like, if some of the Fire King stuff doesn't come back or trigger until the standby phase, so, is there a way No, I don't know what I'm talking about. I can't get out Shen and then Lightning Storm. There's no way to do that. We also got 3 Cosmic Cyclone. Again, just being able to, like, set this going first and then, like, sniping the Fire King Island. Mostly this is important against Fire King because of Sanctuary, being able to protect it from destruction. So that's kind of just a good sort of point of interaction. I feel like there's other things, like the Snake Eye monsters, they can go to the Spell Trap Zone, so being able to banish those, that's also a really good interaction. We got 2 Herald of the Abyss. This is mostly here for Pearly. I don't know that I can out their big rank 7 asshole otherwise, so this is really important. We also got 3 Terrors of the Overroot. Target a card your opponent controls and a card in their grave. Send the card on the field to grave, and then set the target from the grave to their opponent's field. This I'm sort of just experimenting with. I don't really know what else I would run in this slot. Like, I could do Solemn Strike or Solemn Judgment. That might be better. But being able to just send anything, again, like, same with Herald of the Abyss, this is also good against, like, Fire King, because it doesn't trigger any of their stuff. So just having non-destruction removal seems really good, again, for the next format. And because I know other people are going to be playing Cosmics and Lightning Storms and stuff, I've also got 2 Waking the Dragon. That glare, wow, okay. There we go. You can. Here, we'll stick it over here. So, the logic behind Waking the Dragon is that none of my Earthbound stuff cares about being properly fusion summoned or synchro summoned aside from Geogracia. So being able to just summon one of those and then, like, get a free card or, like, set up a fusion summon or, whatever else, like, that's really good. Like, it lets us plus off of, like, getting, Lightning Storm for our back row. We can also actually summon out, like, Baron for a negate, or Shen for the macro effect. So, like, this seems like a very versatile card. I'm not 100% sold on it. I haven't really had a chance to test it out yet. That's also why there's only 2 copies. If it ends up being really good, then I can take out, like, a Terrors of the Overroot. There's also a new Trap Intent Nightmare. It's a super rare that searches for this after you, I think you banish it from grave on a later turn to add one of these or set them to the field or something. So that card also seems like it might be kind of good as a side deck card, just like as a one of. I could, maybe I could take out one of these and just play one Waking. Um, Other things I'd like to get still is Pot of Prosperity. Um, just because it'd be nice to have some draw power, some consistency boosters, but I don't really know what else I could run. Like Pot of Desire seems too risky. Pot of Extravagance is definitely too risky. Because like this deck lives and dies by its extra deck, unfortunately. There's like I tried Allure and like the drawing was nice, but banishing a dark afterwards usually meant that either I was losing my hand because I just didn't draw a dark, or I'm having to make like tough choices and run like extra copies of things just so I don't banish the one of. So yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at with like draw power consistency stuff. I do have a set of Phantom Nightmare and a set of Duelist Nexus coming in. Duelist Nexus, I have a couple things I want to get. I'd like to get Crimson Dragon. Crimson Dragon seems like it'd be really good. It's a generic level 12, and we can make it pretty easily. But then also we can actually make use of our... well, unless I'm misremembering the effect, I'm pretty sure we can make use of Red Supernova Dragon or even King Calamity, which would give us a little bit more utility options going first or second. I'm still kind of trying to find a good level 5 synchro that I want to make. That way I'm not always having to climb from a level 4 and a level 3 to 7 instead of level 1 and level 4 into 5. I got a Hyper Librarian, but the more I think about it, the less I feel that that's actually good for the deck, just because I'm immediately having to synchro it away. So unless I play like a Monster Reborn, I don't think it's worth the spot just for that one niche scenario, you know? So yeah, that's gonna be it for the deck list. I'm not... Excuse me. Beyond getting Stone Sweeper at 3 and Earthbound Fusion, though, I'm not entirely sure what else I need to get for the deck. It might be time for me to hop online and start testing against like meta decks and see what sort of things I can use against them. Ghost Bell might be something I should pick up. That was in the Crystal Beast deck, so that might be easier to get than I'm thinking it is. It was also in Rarity Collection, I think. So that should be sort of an easy one to get. Boop, boop. Excuse me. Yeah, no, I can't think of anything else. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and all that, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.